Well, ana gadi wahi ka joko, so what don't see us nyari. Gati dans rio yojets. Ka we no je on budget square in star on a hroni. Retina wada do godonga gari agesu, yeti sota as tanka garakwa. Yetin stadzi on zage dan a vegaskat ne ganungwe. Retina wada do so yerda and kundon hetzerat ga was a gwadzini ganyat to the gerda dan a fuego o quadzre on onko suma. Retina wada do. Ah, squeezy. Yeti sota gunhan there on the headstone. I'm gonna go rio that you have a quit. Dam dawe adon hetsera gazat stansera ne ganungwe. Dam dawe adon hetsera gazat stansera ne asat ni got hard again ganyanga haga. Radinyato ronata hroni down radiskadewage down dam dawe adon gatsera. Aguego on a go to Guyana, that's what I go in Escana, Ori Huio, Kariwa Gori Shunsula, Dono does it Stansera. Damdawi Adun Hetsera Gazet Stansera, ne Gayandawana, and gonna go Rio. Okay, so as you know, that every time that we get together for council meeting, ceremony, anything of importance, we always have to carry out Honda Gari Wadekwa first. This is where we identify and give thanks to the things within creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. So we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation. And when you look up into the nighttime sky, you're not looking into cold, dark, empty, lifeless space the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead you are looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to Grandma Moon. It's she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things, and so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, where you've grown out from Mother Earth, or what you imagine divides us. Regardless of these things, we all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relations, all together. And so we give thanks to her, to Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us body. From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, for in this world, they give us purpose and direction. From there, we give our thanks to the spirit that connects all living things together, from everything here upon our Mother Earth, deep within the earth, from the furthest reaching roots of the trees that extract the power, the energy, from all of those internal workings, the guts of our Mother Earth, the things that keep her going, like the same way within your body, the guts that keep your body going. You'd never think of it when you're eating something like an orange or something or anything, of how that translates into you having the ability to snap your fingers, to talk, to run, to do anything. So all of those internal workings that we take for granted on a daily basis that happens within us, we take those things for granted, because imagine if you had to think about processing your own food, if you had to think about swallowing it after you chewed it, think about breaking it down in your belly to process it into energy, and then to break it down and process it into what's excrement, what's going to get jettisoned from the body. Imagine if you had to do that, if you were conscious of these things, if it didn't happen unless you did that, just for the food that you eat, and you think of the water or whatever the liquids that you drink, the air that you breathe, all of this, how it is things that you never think about, that you don't, it's not within your power. So you don't have to think about, oh, I better get ready, get up early to go do this now. I gotta process my food. I gotta swallow my food. I gotta break it down, process it for energy, process it for excrement, all of that stuff. So anyways, just like within the human body, within the body of our Mother Earth, all of the things that you would never think of, because we think very small now today. Since the coming of the great darkness of the white man, the original people's brains have shrunk to be the same size as our colonial oppressors. We are less than what we used to be. We are less than human now, the same way as our colonial oppressors are. So you think, like, how subhuman you got to be a colonizer. You're the lowest life, the lowest scum of the earth to be a colonizer, because it means you accept to premeditated theft, rape, murder, all in the first degree. You like you're going on vacation, and you know that to pay for your vacation and whatever, you know that wherever you're going, you're gonna rape someone, you're gonna steal from them, you're gonna murder them. So that's, you just think of the European, how they left Europe to come here over 500 years ago, 5 hours ago. The one who never came here and who just came here 5 hours ago, they're here in the vein of being a colonizer, the same exact thing as the first colonizer that got off the pirate ships 500 years ago. This the same as the person who just got off the pirate planes 5 hours ago, 5 minutes ago. They're in the same vein. And all of them think or don't think like humans. They think in relation to the earth as that the earth is there for them to steal, to plunder, to pillage, for them to do what they wish, what they please, to extract out their bit of happiness, their bit of personal will. So imagine thinking like that. You would be low life scum. So imagine if your brain is reduced to that level of thinking. This is where all the majority now of the native people's thinking is reduced to being on the same level, actually even less than the non-native. Because imagine where we come from in our evolved state of intellectualism. Our intellect is far evolved beyond the non-native, beyond the white people, because they're still at war. How stupid you got to be at war? You got to be the stupidest. Means that you are not thinking. You are not using your brain. You are not using peaceful methods to exist within the world. So the non-native, how they are. So imagine if the native people then reduce ourselves to think like that, to put ourselves under. The native people are far less than what the non-native are, far less than what the whites are, in as far as being evolved, being the stupid factor of complying with, accepting the conduct which is synonymous, what goes along with colonizing. Second, yeah. Change something over. Yeah, so anyways, where the heck was I? From there, we give thanks to all the waters and all the medicines in all the shapes and forms they come in. And this is to remind ourselves that we are made of 100% water. So you are medicine. You're medicine into the world, not just to your loved ones, not just to your grandparents, your parents, your friends, your family. Of course, you're medicine to them, but you're medicine into the world, because whatever you as a good human would do is supposed to be conducive to creation. So if it's to be within the people to provide oranges, okay, so then you're going to be an orange grove person. You're going to be an orange grove. So that's the power that you put into the world, that with every orange or every orange tree that you plant and nurture, that this is healing to the world. It's putting life into the world. It's putting energy into the world. So you think of whatever it is that you would do if you were in a natural state. Like, for instance, all the people of the Longhouse, we are the people of the Three Sisters, people of the corn. So you know that everybody within the Longhouse is working the garden all summer long. So you think within the garden, all the stuff that comes out of there, it's vast, eh? Like, it's not just corn, bean, and squash. It's radishes. It's plums. It's everything. So you think of all the people in the longhouse that comes planting time, that everybody's going to be working on planting the garden, working the garden, getting the seeds planted. This means that certain clans, because of the bowl game, will be having the honor of managing the corn, bean, and squash, of designing the garden, because the gardens weren't just something that we planted and sustained us. The gardens were something that we lived in, that we nurtured our children within, we loved within, we nurtured our love for each other. So the gardens were something we lived within. So just like our garden, anybody who's ever been here or seen it, it's not just a bunch of straight rows of corn. No, it's something that is conducive to the living beauty of the people. So when you think of how girls like to pretty themselves up, like whatever you do to a girl to make themselves pretty, make themselves beautiful and attractive to others. This is what the people done with the land, with the gardens. And the garden isn't just where the life sustainers are. The garden is the forest, it's the trees. The garden is the land itself. It's whatever we do, nurture upon the land. That's our garden. This is the garden that we live within. And so the Garden of Turtle Island is managed by the people on many different levels. That if you think of the concentric circles, the first inner circle being of where the women and children are within the longhouse, the elders are, where the councils take place, the meetings, the ceremonies, all of that. Okay, so you think from that concentric circle out till you get to the garden, and then the people on the outside of the garden, the people beyond that, and then you get the people who are just wandering the territories, always keeping the territories clean, always looking for anything that's like intrusive or invasive, and to manage that. So it's absolutely everything, the garden. It's how you harvest the firewood out of the garden. That's gardening. So as you see today, that if you have a wood stove, most people today do not go and get their own wood. They'll go and buy wood from somebody who cuts down live trees, and they get their firewood that way. Where native people, you'll never see us cutting down a live tree unless it's for something like to clear out the land for a garden, or for space for the people or something, or if we need material, then you'll see us cutting down live trees. But outside of that, we never cut down a live tree. Non-native people, this is where they get their firewood from. They cut down live trees. They actually leave the dead trees. This is the stupidity in the non-native, that they'll cut down live trees for firewood, leave dead trees there to fester. It's where diseases fester within the land, where bacteria festers. The people are supposed to remove the dead stuff as soon as it's there. Like, imagine if you had I don't know, like a dead patch of skin on your arm or something. Would you just leave it? Would you say, oh, look, a dead patch of skin? I don't know. And just go about your day? Of course not. You would tend to it. You wouldn't leave a patch of dead skin on your body unattended to. You would do something. Bear grease it up, or some other kind of medicine, or maybe even, I don't know, somehow even try to remove that, and I don't know, bandage it up somehow. But the thing is that you wouldn't leave dead there on your body. And so this is the reason why the non-native world has these out of control forest fires now, because the dead that is left there to fester. And this is the ridiculous in the non-native world. They say it's to leave that for uh like dead trees and stuff like that. You leave that for animal life, for a place for them uh to live. Hey, you know what? Animal life lives within living trees. If they live within dead trees, it's because those dead trees are left there. Left there by the humans who are supposed to manage and remove those dead trees to prevent forest fires, to prevent bacteria from spreading. And you think that once you move that dead tree that fell, well, then that means there's no more like kindling there, nothing to catch fire. Okay, so if there's nothing there to catch fire, like branches, trees laying there that are getting old, dying, rotting, if those are removed, then you got just the grasses left there, and then you can burn that to get rid of the microbial, the the uh, the microbial life that might be festering, that might not be good. That would be like a bacteria, that kind of stuff. So first, it takes big management of the forest, of the people to go in to get the trees, the dead trees out of there, and that's to heat. That's what it's supposed to heat our homes. We're supposed to heat the longhouse, not live trees. Never, never live trees. So yeah, a management like that by the people first, the big management taking out the big dead trees, and then the smaller management is where the kids then come along and play, and they take the sticks that they use to play with and stuff like that. And that then removes all of the dead kindling there, enabling the next phase of people to come in, and in the springtime to burn that, and in fall time to burn it also. Nowadays, like here in Ganawagi, you have the band system that has their fire department go and put out fires like that. Like as if the people are stupid, like as if those are our parents telling us that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the band system don't know jack shit about managing the land, don't know nothing about managing the forest, because their thinking is in compliance with the white man. So you look at any band system, and they'll have their environmental offices uh, that these are jokes, these are farces. It's just to have somebody have a job, to create a bureaucracy, to create laws that then the bureaucrats and the police can then enforce upon you, then use you as a commodity, use the people as a tax base. So if the people do not exercise their power, then you fall under the power and authority of something else that's going to misuse your power, that's going to corrupt it, turn you into a people, a nation that is just as stupid as the white people, as the non-native people, and as far as lack of management of the forest, and we turn into subjecting ourselves to forest fires. Just like the people, I don't know which communities out west, but as everybody knows, this summer, this past summer, there is native communities out west that were burning because they were subjected to the stupidity of the ban system that tells them that they cannot go out to get their firewood any longer, that for many different reasons, whatever, everybody's relegated into a 40-hour-a-week existence. They don't live upon the land anymore. They don't plant their gardens. So when you don't plant your gardens, then you don't know about the vermin that's around. You don't know about the overpopulation of the squirrels, the raccoons, the skunks, the groundhogs, all of these things that are parasites in the garden. When you see those things today, uh, how many people think, hey, a groundhog? How many people think we better get rid of that groundhog? How many women will say, we'll call the men right away, and hey, there's a groundhog there, go kill that groundhog? Of course not. They won't. So the territory gets populated with things that cause bacteria to fester, or things that are of detriment to the human population, sort of like raccoons, squirrels, chipmunks. You let them around your house, squirrels, you let them around your house, they're going to tear your house apart. Raccoons, they're going to tear your living space apart. They're going to get into your food. They're going to get into all of your stuff. They're going to tear it all apart. So you don't allow those things around. But today, since people are not planting, then they don't care about those things. They'll see a squirrel around and they'll be just like the ridiculous non-native people in the city feeding squirrels. Imagine that, feeding squirrels. That's like a rat running around your house and you say, oh, look at this nice rat, let me feed it. How many people is going to feed a rat running around their house? That's the same thing when people are feeding squirrels. It's so ridiculous when you think of the turnover of things, of the natural world being controlled and managed by the people, to where now the people give up that control and management and relegate the land, the animals, to overpowering the people, to the point of where like these all native communities, like here in Ganawagi, overpopulation of skunks in an area. Well, you come home, you smell skunk. Yeah, well, you'll just think, skunk, the smell. Oh, you see a raccoon, well, you might not think anything of it until you see it in your garbage, until you see it tearing apart your house. But you let these things fester because in every reserve, the ban system, the stupid bureaucrats, create ridiculous laws that outlaw you from existing in a natural way. They outlaw your dogs, that your dogs got to be in your house or tied up, where that means your dogs cannot protect your land from groundhogs, from squirrels, from raccoons. Can't protect your land from all of these things. And the people don't care because they don't plant. Because of, in the system way, everybody's working for the system, everybody's working 9 to 5. They're no longer having a relationship with the land. And so they're all a bunch of bureaucrats, just like the white man now. Stupid bureaucrats. That's the majority of every reserve and all the people on a reserve, just like here in Ganawagi. The majority of everybody are bureaucrats working for the system. And when they work for the system, they all have to shut their mouth because, like here in Ganawagi, secrecy clause. And so secrecy clause means that you've got to shut your mouth to all the corruption that you are seeing, that you are a part of every day. So everybody is in ban systems. They're all a part of the ban system cult that takes them away from being native, that turns them into being white people, just like the bureaucrats in the white people, the bureaucrats in the ban system. Everybody's that. Everybody as a bureaucrat is doing what? What are they doing to provide a living? They're doing nothing. What they're doing is they're sucking from the people, because a bureaucrat does not go out and plant. They do not go out and hunt. They do not go out and make their own way. What they do is they suck from the people. They are parasites. This is in the non-native world. Everybody knows that. So in the native world, within the ban systems, within each community, it's that way. It's just that the people don't yet see themselves as the tax base. They don't yet see that, because here, like here in Ganawagi, they got illegal casinos to fund them. They got illegal mafia from the outside that's funding them. They got illegal taxes that they're putting on businesses here in Ganawagi by allowing white businesses to come into Ganawagi, white corporations, selling them permits. This is how the ban system, all the bureaucrats within the ban system, they're all a bunch of ass-kissing sellouts because they're all going along with the ban system, selling permits to corporations to be here. Now, corporations are within the eye of the law, supposedly, like so-called law of the white man. A corporation is viewed as a non-native person and therefore is taxable. So when the ban system creates or sells permits to corporations to function here within Ganawagi, what they are doing is they are bringing in taxation. They're opening the door for taxation. And so once the door is open for taxation, then there's no way for the bureaucrats to ever wake up and to pull their heads out of the white man's rear end of their bureaucratic jobs. So they become, for all intents and purposes, the white man. Just like here in the ban system here in Ganawagi, they are the white man. They carry out they adopt and carry out all of the policies, programs, laws, rules, whatever, of the non-native society, like here in Ganawagi. The self-government agreement that the ban system is signed on to is an agreement that they must have all their laws conform with the outside surrounding communities. That they must, all their laws, the ban system must adopt and conform to the so-called Canadian Charter of Rights. So it's not any native people. It looks like native people, but it's not native people. They have been turned white. So this is like, imagine like a black person who has bleached their skin and all of a sudden they're white. Well, you can pretend you project yourself as a black person, but hey, you're a white person now. That's all the native people, if there's any left in the reserves, who are working within the ban system, because mostly the ban system is the white people who have bred their way into the communities. So it's all the people who don't have official native standing, native identity, so to speak, as being having native mothers, Mohawk mothers. Like here in Ganawagi, in April of 2015, just 10 years ago, that the ban system voted out Mohawk mothers and created the law for the electoral code that you no longer needed to have a Mohawk mother to run for a ban system. That means white people. It means non-native, any non-native. It's not just that they can run for. No, you think, well, how many white people would come here going to run for mayor of Ganawagi? Hey, a few already, right? Yeah, they're already there. So it's once you have that provision there open as a possibility that that's going to be the default thing that everybody's going to fall back on. So like here in Ganawagi, you can't have any native people all of a sudden waking up to their crooked ways that they're adopted of the white man to say, hey, we're going to stop doing this because all the bureaucrats in the ban system are all white. And they all are the ones adopting these laws and enforcing it. So if you are native, if you're here in Ganawagi and you got a Mohawk mother, you got a clan, it's the clanless within the ban system that are oppressing you, that are preventing you from being what you are supposed to be. Okay, so this is the conditions that exist here in Ganawagi and in each community. Okay, so anyways, from there, what do we got to discuss tonight? Anything? Is there anything that anybody had to present or anything like this? Okay, if there's nothing, one little thing we're gonna report on. Edith, do you want to report on this? We had a meeting last night. Very, very important, very what's the word I'm looking for here? Very promising prospect of what's on our plate, what we're working on for next summer. It's something that just really manifested kind of out of the blue. We were at a workshop or a meeting type of thing a couple of weeks back, maybe about a month ago,
Yeah.
where we met some people. And anyways, they talked about, they wanted to work together. They wanted to assist us in getting a message out about the moon teachings. So anyways, the people that we met with are an organization, a group of people who look for these big walls, open spaces in the city, to put murals on, and they manage all the different artists who are known for being able to make these big murals. You could be a good artist, it doesn't matter. If you've never done a big mural, no matter how much of a good artist you are, you're not going to be able to do a big mural. So it's got to be people who have experience in the field. Anyways, they manage all of this. They manage the companies or the city or whoever that owns the building. They manage that. They work this out. They work out the artists. They work out the imagery, and then a mural's there. Say, for instance, like everybody knows, the big murals in Montreal. There's two of them by uh, I forget. Do you remember the guy's name? The guy who done the murals of Leonard Cohen.
Oh no, I don't remember his.
Anyways, this group knows him, and he is one of the candidates for this effort we're going to do. We're planning for next summer to do a mural somewhere in Montreal area of the moon teachings to convey ancient Ganyalgahaga knowledge, scientific knowledge of creation. And so this is going to be the first in a series of Ganyalgahaga science teachings. So maybe if you want to then come fill in on this, the details that I don't know. That's pretty much what I know. So ready to fill in the rest of this.
Gonna go. Soko, acceptando just go panchita, they're gonna accept and then just salsa. Sapagni Hunsage, Meshika, Homerista, Hinatahini, Yankinastadista, and Tahraga, no Sesne, and the Yangaha, and a wagon, and Wizzy Hunsage, and the Warage Gavanage. As the store was saying, well, this is our beautiful friend Christine that is always wanting us to meet with people that can make artistic projects possible, because she knows that the importance of the message of the Longhouse as to protecting Grandmother Moon and, the place of the women, the rebalancing of the relations, all of that is so important, just the great love piece as it is. So she knows that through artistic means, the messages can be portrayed to a larger public. So when we first met her friend, that is the one that has all of these contacts that Stuart was talking about, the idea was like to create maybe a projection that could be, for example, in a dome that is like kind of like a planetarium style or something. So anyways, her friend is the one that developed the idea of the mural. And so of course the project has to be put together, it's all about, going get the funds and looking for the artists, like everything has to be assembled. So it's really actually exciting because it's to build something from scratch, but the fact that they got it so good and that they are ready to work for it is just like super nice, And the name of this lady is Selina. So if Celine is listening, well, he knows that that name means moon. So of course, when we spoke about Grandmother Moon the first time, she was completely like, wow, So just yesterday in the conversation, we started having also talks about, all the knowledge that the women used to have as to how to give birth, how to take care of the mama and the baby before giving birth and then after giving birth. And all of that is not there anymore for us to hold each other, that many of the times the experiences of the mothers is that they give birth alone, and sometimes they're going to have postpartum depression and they are not going to be even knowing what's happening to them. So anyways, it's just all about the female entity. So it's just really good to know that this is something happening. Angel was there too. I don't know if Angel has something to add about it, like the conversation was really back and forth, and Angel was really making the good turtle of just listening and observing everything. But we are all committed to, for example, or engaged to look for artists. For example, we know a couple of mural artists that we know from the past, in the relations with the Longhouse that we are going to contact. as Stuart said, our friend knows the one that made the mural for Leonard Cohen, and he's like such a good mural guy. And so it has the idea of the whole thing is that it's a project that involves community. For example, that yes, there's like main artists, so all of the artists are going to have like the knowledge of mural, but also the knowledge of handling social infrastructures, in the sense that people could contribute to the mural, like it's something that it can be a community based. So the lady that has the contacts, the idea is to grab a mural somewhere, a wall somewhere in the city, and to do it. So yeah, of course it sounds easy, but as I was saying, there's the steps. But yeah, just very exciting. I think everybody was super happy. The interaction was just so nice. It was really a good feeling, a good vibe of everybody wanting to contribute and work together for something that we know is, beyond ourselves, restoring the matrilinearity, the mother's authority, the comprehension of Grandmother Moon, all of that explained in a mural. But also, the cool thing of this is that, nowadays everything is with QR codes. So it could be as soon as the QR is there, well, people can tap on it, and then there can be the digital presentation of the thing, that can be in the iPhones or whatever. So it's also something, it's not only the mural itself, but what goes beyond accompanying this thing. So of course we know that when we have something digital to present, because Grandmother Moon teachings, really, I mean, the challenge will be to present it just in a 2D without movement setting like a mural, because the ideal would be to create something that is animated and that can literally show how this works. That's like the idea since a long time. But if this project can bring both, well, that's just amazing. So yeah, I think that covers it pretty much.
Well, you just made me think of something. On the wall, just think of, okay, there's a big wall. For the moon teachings, those of you who know the moon teachings, we identified that there would have to be like a couple of different images. One image to depict the moon in the new moon phase and the moon in the full moon phase. Because if it's just, say, one painting, then it's going to be the moon's going to be either on the new or the full moon. So we figured to have a good comprehensive teaching in a single image mural, then we'd have to have a couple of different images. But something here just made me think of in a interactive sense, that just think of a wall. We got the earth centered. So just think in the middle of the wall, there's the earth there. Sun would be on either side, wherever, top, bottom, wherever, on either side. But from that center point, if we could have like a semi-elliptical rail where the moon could go around that in a circle in the time span of 28 days, imagine. So you think just a rail on the building, something cheap, because the moon would have to be probably, depending on the size of the mural, the size of the wall, maybe 5 to 10 feet in diameter. So a 5-foot diameter moon like this one, this is 4 feet right here. So just imagine 5 feet or double the size. This is just a sheet of plywood that I spray painted, and I spray painted gray on there, try to make it look like the moon. So imagine just something like this on that rail moving. So then it could go into the I'll draw you a diagram what's in my mind right now, because then I have to remember this also. Right there. So anyways, the reason why I want to go into a little bit of depth is to like if anybody's watching or interested in this, then anybody could pass us some ideas. Maybe your idea could be incorporated into this mural. Now, you think the purpose for this, the ultimate purpose, the design, is that in Montreal they're putting all these kind of street signs and names like that, like to accommodate, to show that it's native, Mohawk signage. That's one thing, but that's just a street name. It doesn't, even the street name isn't translated. Oh, excuse me. It's not translated, yeah, for people to understand. It's just whatever the name is. So a mural is more of a teachings. It's more of a sharing of a spirit than especially a mural of the moon teachings. Then this is the science, because the people of the Longhouse, the Ganyangahaga, the Five Nations, we were people of science. We were living scientists. You think to attain peace, you got to be the smartest people, because you look at the non-native, they've been in war for thousands of years, and they got the technologies that could really facilitate or assist them to living in peace, but instead they use their technologies to stay locked in war. You gotta be stupid, extremely stupid, to have technology and still be locked in war. Wow, that is stupid people who are enslaved to their technology, meaning their science has overpowered them. But for the Ganyangahaga to live in peace, to acquire peace, to go through the process of even burying our weapons of war, this is scientific processes. Like we say all the time within the opening, just peace, power, and righteousness, those three words. Those aren't just three words, that's an equation. That's a scientific equation of how to attain harmony, of how to live in harmony. Okay, so anyways, let me show you what's in my mind here. So just think it's a wall. So in the center of the wall, we have the earth permanent in one place. It's going to show Turtle Island, north and south. Well, okay, that's supposed to be Turtle Island, north and south. Okay, so you just picture like elliptical on the wall behind. A rail where the moon is on that rail. Of course, it'd be proportioned, to the earth. So it's just my drawing, so don't say it's not proportioned. Okay, so just imagine then having some type of mechanism, a little motor or something that has the moon actually spin around there 28 days. And so then over here we'll have like a caption, like almost like a cartoon, like not a cartoon, like a comic book strip, that type of thing. Have a caption there and a caption here. So of course, if the sun's over here, so then this is new moon. Okay, so new moon, and you'll have a little explanation here. What is the new moon? What is happening? What's the correlation between Grandma Moon, Mother Earth, eldest brother, the sun, that kind of thing. And then over here for the full moon also, well, then you'd have your little script there. And then on the bottom or somewhere close to where the people would be, like Ida would say, the QR code. And that QR code right there could be where, like when you're in a museum and you got these headsets on and you're walking through the museum and you're listening. So you could go, if you got a cell phone, I imagine, I'm not really sure how those QR codes work. So if you're standing there, you're looking at this mural And you're, hey, whatever, it's gonna look good because it's gonna be a beautiful mural. So as you're standing there, you just take your phone and you shine whatever at the QR code. And then right there from the QR code, it'll go right to the audio moon teachings or even one of the videos, whichever. We got a lot of videos online or audio, and it'll be an interactive uh, learning experience. It'll be uh, learning native science without having to actually be there, be with the native people, without actually having to have that contact. So the purpose of putting these signs up all around Montreal is to just get in people's minds, whatever, like land acknowledgement, that kind of stuff, to remind them, hey, you're in Ganyaga territory. Well, you know what would remind everybody? Being in Ganyaga territory a lot more than just a simple street name, because you think like Hochelaga, everybody knows that street in Montreal. Do you think they think that that's a native name? Of course they don't. They just think Hochelaga. What is that? They don't know. It's just a word. So a word, like a word for the moon teachings, then it would be not just a word like a street name. It would be a word with a teaching, what a knowledge, what a science shared to it. This is something that is the niche that will uh, get into the non-native mind and help to change their corrupted thinking. Now, of course, it's not going to be something that's just like that. And it's not going to be just one mural that's going to do that. It's going to be a series of murals all over the city in different aspects of Ganyagahaga life. Something about the Three Sisters, something about the Great Law of Peace, something about a lacrosse game, something about whatever else anybody can think of. So this right now, and this is what I'm showing, it's just an idea that I got. I mean, good luck and for us trying to actually, make that happen. Get a rail and have the moon going, moving around. But imagine that would be uh that's we're shooting for the stars with that. If we don't make it, well, then we just do what we can. So this project here is the first stepping stone to having all of these teachings out there. And like I said, it could go into bowl game. It could go into the teachings of um, the sacred tree, the teaching of the turtle's back, the teaching of the 13 squares, the 28 days. Proper teachings, because as you know, everybody on let me show you this. Everybody through social media today is all screwed up in their thinking that whenever you see a turtle, uh, what they show on social media is they show number one being right here or else on this side. And then they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll either go here and then down here, or else 1, 2, 3 this way and then that way. Of course, it's wrong. Because number one, where number one is not off to the side, it's right there. That's where number one is. You can see number one. She's right there. Number one is right there. And so we could have these scientific teachings of the turtle, of the sacred tree, of the turtles, the 13 moons, the 28 days. That could be there. Like I said, lacrosse game. What else? What else? It would be like a teachings, something constituting a teachings that we could share in a simple image like that. Anyways, just to think that it's really unlimited. What could then be done in as far as using these open spaces on buildings in the city to turn them into a teaching zone? Because there then, at those murals, what we see happening is at certain times of the year, schools, the local schools in the area will take their children there to those murals and to go and to have a teaching for them. where it's like instant access to native knowledge. This is what the non-natives need because you know how screwed up their thinking is. So they need some kind of assistance in proper thinking. So this is how we do it. We reach out in this way, and it fills a niche that nobody even knows is there waiting to be discovered. We discovered it. So it's already there. People already know this anyways, you know, to some degree, but this is a new level of something, whatever, what we're doing now, that's gonna just take things to a different level. So, what the intent is to have what the Moon Teachings mural is to have maybe even a moon ceremony there on a moonly basis, which would mean 26 times a year, every new moon, every full moon. The people could gather there. The people would know, hey, there's going to be somebody coming from Ganawagi who will go there and give a moon teachings, give just a moon ceremony, just to be with them, just to manage the circle, you know, just to have that interaction. So, anybody out there, just think then, do you know anybody who is a native artist who can do murals, who has done murals? We don't want somebody, it can't be somebody who's going to say, oh, I'm pretty sure I can do that. Look how good of an artist I am. No, it's got to be somebody who is not just a good artist, but who is somebody who uh, uh, translates from a little drawing to a big building. It's got to be somebody who already has experience in that. So if you know a native person anywhere, I don't care where they are. I don't care if they're here in Montreal, if they're in Ottawa, if they're in Victoria, Toronto, anywhere. They could be anywhere. They could be on the state side. You know a native person who does murals. It's got to be realism. It's not going to be something that's like like abstract like that. Any 5-year-old can do something like that. So if you know any native person or native group who does anything like this, then see if you can connect us. Edith, what about Ayun then? Did you have any contact with her to
Not
ask her
yet.
about this?
No.
Okay, so there's a friend of ours that we've been working with over the years in Chile. Is that where she is?
Argentina.
Argentina. A Mapuche life giver who's an artist and who's done some really great work for us already, together with us, I mean, for different posters and stuff. So I said to Edith, ask her, imagine if we could raise funds to get her to travel here to do a painting here. You just think of the cross nation exchange, cross hemisphere exchange. Her, if it was able to happen, her coming here from Argentina in her winter time, coming here into our summer and to do this, like just the experience alone, like so we're talking about also like documenting the whole process of like a video documentary of it. Yeah, because it's going to be an interesting process. Okay, so if you know of an artist, if you have in your mind a better idea than this, because just looking at this, you can see it's kind of like nothing to it. Of course, there's going to have to be a background, like all of that stuff. So, but if you got an idea in your mind what could be or what should be within the image, then communicate it to us. Let us know. When it comes time to start the mural, it's going to be done in ceremony. There's going to be an event there. It'll be maybe most likely it'll start off in the daytime. So it'll most likely start off in the new moon. So we'll probably start in midday, maybe in May or April, the new moon of April or May. A ceremony to begin it. There'll be a moon teachings there, sharing circle, maybe, who knows, maybe even a round dance, community sharing. It'll be community based, from the native community to the non-native community. We already got somebody who said, a business who told us that they'll be willing. They're gonna bring the barbecue, the sausage to go, and for that day, they're gonna supply the sausage, the sausages, that kind of stuff, barbecue. Wow, okay. What happened?
We got cut off.
How long ago?
I don't know.
You're out about 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so, let me jump back 30 seconds. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then we got a mural. So, whatever I was saying. So there's so many possibilities from this. There could be a rotation of people knowledgeable, because it would be managed by us. So anyone who would be knowledgeable or wanting to go, say there's a life giver who wants to go and manage carrying out the moon ceremony, either for the new or the full. Keep in mind, there'll be 26 of them. So throughout the year, doesn't have to be me being there. It could be you. It could be somebody else who would be qualified to carry out a moon ceremony. Somebody who knows what they're doing to walk people through it. Somebody who's managed ceremonies in the past. So we could have 26 different people from the community doing that in just 1 year. So just think, over 10 years, well, 260 people. Yeah. Something like that. So it could just be a process of letting people cut their teeth on that. Like, say, a person who's, like I said, they got to be a little bit eligible, a little bit qualified. They've got to know how ceremonies run, how to work it, how to manage people in a ceremony, if somebody's being unruly or whatever, all of that stuff. So it could be somebody who's got that base knowledge, but maybe doesn't have that experience with bunches of people, like exposure like that. Maybe they're a little bit nervous when they talk in front of people or whatever. So this could be like a training ground, cut your teeth, to where then that person could, through this process, elevate themselves to become and fill a niche of teacher, to go and then share with schools or people or groups, organizations, anything. So it could facilitate being like a training ground for us to learn how to fill this niche that's there, of like what we do right now, going into the schools, going into the universities, all going into organizations all over the place. We've been doing this for as long as I can remember, ever since. But myself, this is where, if there was a structure like this, it's almost like, say, you going to school and learning certain things and then moving on into actual field, working in the field. So something like this could fill that level of, like, getting us up to that level of where somebody else might, maybe a girl in the community might want to carry out the moon ceremony, and yeah, just to show the diversity of ceremonies. Ceremonies work different when different people carry them out or run them or manage them. So it could show the diversity. Somebody, like if somebody's there each moon throughout the year, maybe in that neighborhood where this mural will be, that person might be there all year. They might be there for a few years. So they'll see, hey, well, they'll see this person who done the ceremony. They'll get that feel, this feel from a girl, this feel from a guy, from an elder, from a younger person, just somebody, the way that they manage the ceremony. They might like this person's technique more, or, that kind of stuff. So it's like I said, cutting our teeth, fine tuning our abilities of managing ceremonies, interaction, teaching, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of possibilities with this. And we talked about, of course, like what Edith said, expanding it into other teachings like audio, video, stuff that we already do already, but more defined, more articulated. Yeah. With more possibility other than just me. Right now, like these Zooms, it's just me. Unless somebody comes here and we talk and, there's an interaction, but still, it's not that person managing this or running it. So imagine like if there's a mechanism there to facilitate people learning how to do this. No, not saying that I know how to do this, so you'll learn it like within the structure that we've created or whatever. No, it would be something that really to facilitate the diversity, the true face of Ganawagi, to show the diversity. Yes, I would say that if there was somebody from the Warrior Society or the Christian Handsome Lakers, whatever, if they were somebody to present themselves to go and to carry out the moon teachings there, of course, it would have to come through us because we're the ones managing that. And if the person is eligible and qualified, then yeah, that would show the diversity. We're open to that, to the point of where you hear me saying this right now. You don't hear anybody saying anything like this from the 207 or the Mohawk Trail or the band system. You'll only hear this coming from us because we're the only ones that are open like that. So imagine what it could facilitate. It could facilitate you being activated into an area of being a teacher where you never even thought that you'd be a teacher. Just the way of the Longhouse is to have the people exposed to all the things that the Longhouse is, that the Longhouse does, all of its teachings, all of this, all of its knowledge, and then to have the people grow the way that they want in whichever area. So something like this could be, it will be a greater facilitator of that happening. It could be like the difference of driving on a back road to get from point A to point B or jumping on a freeway, like you could get there faster, never mind rush hour traffic, but get there faster. So it could fill a niche within the people that, like we said, that we don't even know that there could be something there to facilitate relations, to facilitate teachings, So anyways, we're getting it started. This is, we got the ball rolling. First phase of it. Actually, first phase, it's manifesting now. It was a dream floating around the head. No, it's manifesting. So by the summer, this will be happening. Somewhere in the city, a mural depicting the Ganyangahaga Munti. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if anybody's got anything to say on that. Like you said, I don't know if Angel is there. Angel was there last night. If you're there, if you got anything you want to say about this, if not, then we'll move on from this if there's nothing anybody wants to say.
Maybe just a really quick note. I'm Angèle, daughter of Jeanne Mance, granddaughter of Jeanne Aimée, great granddaughter of Marianne. I'm the Toro Clan temporary representative in the Life Givers Nation. And it was a really interesting meeting to witness because I was, like Edith said, I did the perfect turtle. I didn't say much because I didn't need to. Ideas were flowing at a speed impressive speed, but it was really interesting and inspiring to witness. So, and I can see that it plants so many seeds in each of our head to be inspired and have ideas of anything that we can do around this, not only the mural like you described. And I also had an idea of something in the physical, not only a painting. So you're talking about a rail. It was not as big, but that was the kind of idea that I got too. So I can see that as a non-native, it's our job to support like natives to connect to their knowledge and like empower them as much as we can. So I feel like I'm doing my job supporting this project. So
Yeah. Yeah, so like with angels identifying, like when you're brainstorming and you say, what about this? And then somebody says, wow, yeah, we can do this too. And like, wow, it just builds and builds. It's so exciting to be in the uh thinking and manifesting stage of things in the meetings that we have. This is really it really makes life so fulfilling because of all the meetings that we have like this, all the things that we are doing. There's we got so many pokers in the fire right now. There's the water museum thing that we've been working on for what, about 3-4 years now with the seal. It's the water uh place. What is that exactly? The
A
seal.
museum.
It's a water museum, yeah, in Lavelle.
an
And we've been
interpretation
working
center.
the what?
It's water interpretation center.
Yeah. So we've been working for years on it with them well, about 3-4 years, to establish a digital online water museum. So this is still in the works. And as you know, all the things that you see, the different videos that we do, like working with the turtle group and that, when we're meeting with them and we're uh, discovering what we can do together, this is what's really exciting. Those meetings, when these things happen, wow, it's like the lightning strikes and the possibilities, like of growth from that. It's really just so fulfilling, so enlightening, uh, fulfilling, yeah. Purpose, like there's a purpose to life, like something good, the good stuff is happening. Yeah, so just to be in these meetings that we have, like there's always something going on that we're involved in, that it really just makes life so exciting, so purposeful, always something to look forward to. There's always something on the horizon, just right there. There's this meeting, that meeting, this project, that project. So within the Longhouse, it's a body in motion. It's a body alive, a living body that's constantly has to do things to be alive. And so this is the Longhouse, that the projects are never ending. And to keep in mind that you might think that, hey, maybe like we're throwing something like a dart out there, like maybe we threw 10 darts and we only got one dart on the board and didn't even go near the bullseye. Like we got the lowest score. Well, you know what? With all these different possibilities, with all these different meetings and pokers in the fire of projects, maybe not all of them is going to work out. Maybe one of them or two of them or a few of them. But the thing is that to take these efforts within the vein of the two-row wampum for the purposes of bridging the gap, the intellectual gap that exists between the native and the non-native people. Because there's no other gap. It's an intellectual gap. There's no, when you can say like there's a cultural divide, well, it's those divisions are always based in either lack of intellectual capacities or depending if there's two parties, one side maybe has more intellectual capacity than the other. And this is where it's really all of our interactions are like on that level. The non-native people need native interaction to like legitimize their efforts to to make it right, just to make it good. Yeah. So really good project. Again, a mural project for next summer of the Ganyangahaga Moon teachings. So if there is anybody who knows of any native muralists, it's got to be somebody who knows how to do murals, and it's got to be somebody who can paint like realism, not like Van Gogh type of stuff, you know, not something that could look like a picture, like look real. Yeah, so if you got any ideas of what an image should be, what could be done, anything, any kind of ideas on it, let us know, share, get yourself active. Where maybe perhaps right now, in things like this, you're not active. Most likely not. Okay, what else? Is there anything else? Okay, there was something I shared with you in the LGN messenger. Can you look at something there today? And wanted to, it's some article. It's an article from CNN. If we can share that. I can't even remember what it is. Something that I shared. I'm gonna see if we can get that and have discussion going on that. Okay, so give us a second here. We're looking at it right now, trying to find. No. What is that? Did I share that?
Angel.
Oh, okay. It's gotta be something that I shared. Did I share none today?
Maybe chat.
Come on, what is this? I shared. Oh, you know where I think to the angels thing. Here. Can you share that?
Angel, can you enable sharing screen?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay, so anyways, in the meantime, while we're getting this set up, I'm sure some of you's heard what's happening in the United States of America, that last week or a week and a half ago, there was different senators and Congress people that were made a video for the military telling them not to take illegal orders. Okay, so I'm sure everybody's heard, well, Trump and his headset are threatening to take action, like to recall one of the senators into active military duty so they can court-martial them. So anyways, what this is that when you think of like in the Roman Empire, it's the senators now plotting how to take out Caesar, and Caesar in return plotting how to take out the senators. So this is all a very dangerous situation that they're in there. But anyways, it's escalated a little bit because of, as you know, Trumpler saying to a female reporter, "Quiet, piggy, quiet." And then saying to another female reporter, "Are you stupid?" When she asked a question, and him saying, "That's a stupid question. Are you stupid?" Calling down on somebody else, saying that they're ugly, and so on and so on. Anyways, it's escalated to this point of where I'm not sure who this woman is. I think she's either a senator or a congressperson. So a lawmaker. So if she is, no matter what, this video here, what we're going to share now, it speaks for itself. So let's just play it.
Existing this low down, dirty, no good, filthy president of the United States of America.
Well, that comment got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Low down, dirty, no good, filthy president.
Yeah.
Could say that that's unhelpful, makes the situation in the country worse, deepens the divide. What do you say?
Let me say, let me tell you, the president of the United States calls everybody names. And he just said to a journalist, a journalist, called her piggy. He called someone a big fat slob. And so he's doing it all the time. He gets away with it. The media does not challenge him, does not resist him. And so, I feel very comfortable and very free hitting him back.
Yeah, so that's it. Oh no. What the hell here?
Process is not real. Courtroom.
Okay, so I just wanted to share this with you because a little while ago, with our friend Malia being here, and there was another life giver that was with her. What was her name? Adriana? Adriana. She's from where?
Colombia.
Colombia. Anyways, they're talking about the realities of what life givers are facing in this world, and you hear this more and more. Life givers are fed up with the males in this world. There's groupings of life givers who are getting together to support each other to not have children anymore, because they're saying or identifying that the guys in this world are like of low caliber within the gene pool. Like they don't want to have children with the guys that are in this world. Anyways, you all know, if you're a guy, I don't think I have to emphasize this or tell you this. I think everybody knows that I'm certain the women, the life givers, are all aware of this, depending on maybe different degrees, depending on how old you are, the exposure to reality that you've had so far. But pretty much so, the general overall experience that life givers are having with the males in this world, they're not really encountering any life protectors, just a bunch of piss poor excuses for males. So there's a lot of disdain that the women, that's building up into women, to the point of like being pissed off, of really getting angered as to the way that the males are in this world. Now think of this, where do those males come from? They come from the life givers. So if the life givers are getting pissed off with the males in this world, then that means the life givers are getting pissed off with what they're bringing into this world. They bring them into the world. They're getting pissed off. Well, how could you, wait a minute. If you're getting pissed off at the guys in this world, it's obviously not a guy that you, a life giver, have brought into the world. So what we're seeing here is an overlapping of in age groups for the life givers, where a life giver today who's maybe 60 years old, she brought in the male that you, maybe you're 20, 30 years old, she brought in the male yesterday who is now treating you like crap, or maybe he just doesn't know. Maybe he's not treating you like crap. Maybe he just doesn't know how to conduct himself, period. So the girls of today who are becoming turned off to the way guys are, it's because of the women of yesterday brought these guys into the world. And they were pissed off by them because they remember back in the 60s and 70s, women were burning their bras looking for equal rights and stuff like that. Why was that? Was that because they were happy with the males in the world? Were they getting treated proper? No, they weren't. So what you're seeing is that each generation of women, life givers, are confronted with the same thing, but each generation is confronted with something that the life givers of the generation before them brought into the world. Now, this isn't to put blame on the life givers, like to relinquish the males of being responsible and say, hey, you brought me here, you gave birth to me, that type of thing. But it is creating a gap between life giver and what was once life protector. So at one time, life giver, life protector were butted up against each other, just like that. It was a continuum. Now there's a gap between the life giver and what used to be life protector, but the gap means they're no longer life protector, because life protector would be right there with the life giver. But the gap is just like in generation gap, it's a gap between female and men. How could there be a gap? Think of that. There's only two of us. We need each other. We love each other. We hate each other. You can't hate anybody else. You got to hate the guys that are there. If you're going to hate, you can't love anybody else. You got to love the guys that are there. So guys, vice versa, the girls that are there. So we're all engaged in something together. How could we get to the stage of where the life givers are just getting turned off to the guys? Where did the guys stop being life protectors? Now, I'm not saying that I'm free of this. No. So if you got this in your mind, I'll get that out of your mind. In the world, what we were talking about earlier with Malia and Adriana was that to make things simple and understood, we got two tables in here, and I gave an example of that. If on one side of the table, this is where apples come from, and then the other side of the table is where orange comes from, and then if there was, let's say, like a deadline for something, and if there's any apples on the oranges side or oranges on the apple side, then when that deadline comes, then that's where they are. And it's illegal for apples to be with oranges or oranges to be with apples. That's illegal. So when the axe falls, it's a matter of that. If you're on that side, it's not a matter of me. If I say what you're doing is wrong, not a matter of that. It's a matter of that, just how you end up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You self-categorize as being incorrect or improper, in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, so this is what is happening, or what the sentiment is of the life givers, of what I'm picking up, what I'm exposed to, as to that they're not happy with the males, even to the point of getting pissed off with the males. What would that mean? Let's say if we're all standing there, there's girls right there and guys are right here, and the guys are like, yeah, like acting all cool, without realizing that the girls are just pissed off at them. And the guys are thinking like, yeah, come on, baby, whatever, like that kind of thing. But the girls are just pissed off. Well, the guys will have this corrupted thinking in their head, thinking that, hey, yeah, baby, come on, that kind of thing. But the girls are not going to that level of baby. They're not going to have that interaction. So what it means then is you're going to have a bunch of very disgruntled guys, a bunch of upset guys. a bunch of lonely guys, a bunch of guys that are angry, a bunch of guys that want to love women, but because of the way they've been bred, that they can't, that they don't know how, that they're bred into male dominance by male dominance to be stupid like male dominance. So girls, life givers, are you going to be with that stupid guy? Well, this is where girls are saying no. You're not going to be with that stupid guy. But there's more and more stupid guys, right? And there's more and more girls who are saying they don't want to be with those stupid guys. So what will happen in a society like that? Where there's a bunch of beautiful women and a bunch of guys who want to love women and want to be with women but can't. What will happen in that society? There's going to be some kind of breakdown. There's going to be some kind of violation because those guys were raised in male dominance of the belief, religious belief, of that they just take what they want and that the female is there for them like a subordinate to the male. Don't forget, when you got this crazy, screwed up, religious, corrupted way of thinking of that, oh, God created man, and then out of man's rib created woman to keep him like an afterthought, to keep him company. When you got a corrupted, insane default program like that, then you're always going to be going back to insanity. You're always going to be in insanity. And this is where what life givers have been subjected to for thousands of years now. What kind of conditions are those? Are they good conditions? Is it where women end up getting raped, violated, abused, beaten up? That's precisely where the women are, where the women have been, where the guys have been doing that. Okay, so what kind of breakdown or what will happen in that society? A breakdown will happen, some type of breakdown. What? Something. So it's just a matter of that. Again, here's all these guys standing there thinking they're all cool. Yeah, baby, come on, baby, woohoo, let's do something, that kind of thing. And the life givers will just be turned off to them. And it'll leave these guys all just there within themselves, still saying, yeah, baby, oh, yeah. And what they end up doing is they end up becoming more male, more macho together, the guys. And then the way they talk. If they did happen to meet a girl that was, that they're fortunate enough to know them, then those guys, what do? Oh, they're standing in the circle of guys. Oh, yeah, I had that girl. Oh, yeah, she's this or that, like talking, mistreating in that way, where the woman, the life giver, isn't even aware that she's being mistreated. Because that's not happening in front of your face. You're not going to be out and a guy's going to be with his friend in a bar somewhere, and right in front of you, he's going to be saying, oh, yeah, you should have seen what I done to her last night. Like as if that's going to happen. Not in front of you. So you girls, the girls know that this is what's happening with these kind of piss poor examples of guys in the world. So the girls are being violated. It's like a double violation. If you're violated right there where there's direct physical contact, and then both go your separate way, and then afterwards he's violating you even more in a way that you don't know because of how he's talking about you. This is something that what I learned in the Longhouse is that you never talk about a girl's sexuality. You never talk about your interaction with a girl. And if you do, of course, it's got to be very respectful, and it can't be like, oh yeah, oh she done this, oh yeah, that one does this, oh yeah, buddy, yeah, go after this one, she's this way, that way. That guys do that. So this is the kind of stupidity that the girls have to navigate without even knowing. It's like a minefield. And you think it's just the field you're walking, and then all of a sudden, kaboom, it blows up in your face. What? Something from this conversation that the guy had today, talking about you in a, which way, then it's like stepping on a minefield next week where you don't even know. You might have contact with that person who that guy talked to, who then is going to look at you or treat you differently, or maybe even give him the gumption enough to even violate you, to say, hey, baby, I heard you're good at this, or I heard you like this, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I've never done that. I've never spoken about any life giver that I was ever with in my life in those ways, that kind of way. This is something that all Longhouse people are taught proper. So there's no Longhouse people, then of course the girls were exposed to status quo. That's okay. Okay, anyways, am I rambling again? If there's nothing that anybody's got, no questions, nothing to address, yeah, this oh, okay, just to address this really fast, it's been kind of building up in the last couple of weeks. This, I'll give you an assessment of the Longhouse as to what has happened since the coming of the great darkness of the white man. Okay, so what has happened is that within the Longhouse, you can see that if it was, say it's bright and sunny, all of a sudden it's dark. How did this happen? How did it change? Well, it had to change from the inside. And so how the Longhouse changed from within the inside is through infiltration, stemming back all the way back to Joseph Brant, where he is not being a Mohawk. His mother was a white woman. It was his father who was a native, was a Mohawk. So him knowing the language, Joseph Brant, he became a translator. And soon the translator, through the non-native, put more emphasis on the translator. And so they brought the translator, Joseph Brant, to London, where he became a Freemason. And this is where the infiltration into the Longhouse begins through the Christian Handsome Lakers, the Freemasons of Six Nations, Grand River. So he brought back the first Freemason house there in any native territory. It's the oldest Freemason lodge there in the region. It's just outside. Now it's just out of the reserve of Grand River. But this is the infiltration into the Longhouse today that gets everything that you see, the way the chaos, the turmoil is within our nations. It's because of the infiltrators of the Six Nations, Haudenosaunees, who are all Christian Handsome Lakers, who are all one way or another, if they are not directly Freemasons themselves, like their Grand Poobah, Joseph Brant, then they are Rotary Club, they're Knights of Columbus, they're all the underlings underneath it, but one way or another, they're affiliated to it. And these are people that have infiltrated directly into the Longhouse to alter, to change. Right up until what's the most famous one in modern day for everyone to be able to relate to is here in Kahnawake, Louis Hall. Louis Hall was a Knights of Columbus all his life. He was an infiltrator into the Longhouse. And as you see, everybody today identifies Louis Hall as being the source of and the creation of the Warrior Society, which of course, that's not entirely true. It's partially true. It's not entirely true. It's only part of the truth. But that infiltration into the house, where, how is somebody going to infiltrate into the Longhouse? It's very easy, right? Well, it's very easy in other houses. It's not so easy here. There is infiltrators here, no matter what. in our house, just like your house, there's going to be infiltrators in all of our houses. But it's not so easy here to infiltrate because we don't allow Christian Handsome Lake, we don't allow Warrior Society, we don't allow non-native people to hold positions of power or authority or influence because that is against the law. So here within our house, there is less infiltration. But the house, the continuous house, has seen it. I seen it as a kid, the infiltration, filling up the Longhouse with people who, at the time, I didn't even realize that in the late 60s, early 70s, that it was just a flood of people coming from town to the Longhouse. And I didn't realize it until a couple of years later, till I got older, that all of these people, they weren't even our people. They're not even, they don't carry clans, they don't carry the birthright. And they're all there disrespectful. They're all there for what they want. They wanted, back in the 60s and 70s, they all wanted the red card. Okay, so they were all there disrespectfully to get what they want while they, when they want it. And as soon as they got it, they all left to do their damage into the world, like as if they were Longhouse people. And of course, this is infiltration, where you could be sitting talking about, hey, do we agree with taxation? Or do we agree with curbs? No, we don't. All those people will say yes, they do, because they all work for the town who needs those curbs for their jobs in order for them to keep their jobs, which means they bring in taxation. So they all agree with this. That's the infiltration in the Longhouse, where the Longhouse would say, do we agree with curbs? Everybody would say no. Just like the same way in 1973, everyone in the Longhouse said to the band system when they sent Irving Goodleaf to the Longhouse to come and ask the people to assist the band system in evicting the non-native people that they were selling permits to live here. Okay, so the Longhouse, everybody said no. Who went along with it was just a very small select group family. It was just Louis Hall and the Delarones that went along with it. But the Delarones shouldn't have been involved in evictions, because the Delarones, Eddie Delarone, their father, their mother was non-native. So they shouldn't have been involved in any kind of evictions. This is where, when you get people who shouldn't be involved in evictions and then they're involved there, then this means, of course, this is where you have a mind manipulation happening upon the people, an infiltration that divided the people, divided the Longhouse, divided the community. And this is what I've seen all along, in which only this house here, the Longhouse up the hill, throughout all 5 nations, Longhouse Confederacy territories, all of the descendants, we are the only house that is identifying that the Confederacy has been infiltrated from Onondaga, the corruption of Onondaga. Onondaga has overpowered with corruption all of the other 4 nations. Well, they haven't overpowered the Ganyangahaga. They've sent in their infiltrators here, which is here in Ganawagi, the Christian Handsome Lake infiltrators, Stephen McCumber, Kevin Deere, Charlie Patton, whoever else they got sitting over there, all of those people. These are infiltrators. So our house is the only house that's going to tell you that what has happened to us over a period, a time span of a couple of 100 years, is an infiltration into the house through Freemasons, Freemasons or Zionists, Freemason Christian Handsome Lakers, that what you don't know, but what I detected in my time, is that they keep record. So you got to watch out for the people who keep record. That will tell you. Those are the infiltrators. The ones that keep record, written record, the way the white man does, the way that the Freemasons do, that this is how the Freemasons control the Confederacy. And you think, if you're aware of this, in Grand River, every time the Mohawks tried to build a longhouse, over the span of a couple of 100 years, all the other nations went and burned that house down. literally. The Mohawks in Grand River could never, how could that be when, could never get even a house going when Grand River is granted to the Mohawks and their allies of the Six Nations. So how could the Six Nations then overpower the ones who that land is granted to? Through Christian Hansen Lake. Because what you don't know, if you are a Longhouse person or you believe you're a Longhouse person, what you don't know is that there is records of you, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents that the Freemasons hold upon all Longhouse people to know like this, to know who the infiltrators are, to because they're there as sleeper cells, just like Louis Hall. That anybody who knows Louis Hall isn't even in his right place when he was here. He was borrowed. He crossed the floor. And so that infiltration on that level is what enabled his Knights of Columbus way to filter into the Longhouse, to be able to infiltrate and to then break up. So the Longhouse, the Five Nations, the Grand Council on both sides of the imaginary border have been infiltrated by the corruption of the Onondaga Nation. The Onondaga Nation used Joseph Brant to be the spearhead, sent him to London, where he went to get the poison of Freemason and brought that back. And this is what's been controlling the Grand Councils on both sides of the imaginary line for the last couple of hundred years, almost 170, 180 years. It's still here. It's infiltration within the Longhouses. Every house you think you're not, you don't know how infiltrated you are. You are controlled by Onondaga. This is the reason why you refer to yourselves as Haudenosaunee, which means you do not know your own identity. And they're all going to say, oh yeah, we do. Well, how come you call yourself Haudenosaunee? All the young people today don't even know what Haudenosaunee is. They'll say it means this, but they don't know what it is. They say it translates into meaning Longhouse builders. Big deal. That's what they say it means, but that's not what it actually is. What it actually is the exact same thing as their parent company, which is Britain, which is a Union Jack. So the Onondagas are a Union Jack within the Five Nations. They are working to destroy the Five Nations. The Onondagas have done this for well over 170 years now, almost 200 years, through them adopting, or not adopting, but picking up the corruption of picking up a person that the Senecas had dehorned. They didn't kick him out, they just dehorned him. But he just went wandering around, and here he is wandering in his drunken stupor. He ends up in Onondaga, and he's in front of the what's corralling Taradaho. And Taradaho called upon that guy and say, I will recognize you if you release me from this cage that didn't have any lock on it. So Christian Hansen Lake released the old spirit of Taradaho from its cage to be back amongst the people. The old spirit of Taradaho. Do you know what that is? Most likely not. But this is the infiltration that all the other nations, all the other peoples, everyone here in Ganawagi, except the Longhouse up the hill now, has fallen victim to. You are all infiltrated by Christian Hansen Lake, which is to lay down and die peacefully, kiss the white man's ass, good little Indians who are genocide compliant. You've been infiltrated by this. We do not allow that infiltration into our house. As you know, as you heard in the last week when we were talking about this, in 1989, when the guy supposedly holding the title of Tadadaho in Grand River, Pete Sky, when he told us that you will get your condolence for our late chief Joe Phillips, provided we accept Handsome Lake, I told him to go fuck himself, shove it up his ass. Ganawagi will never accept Handsome Lake. Never. We will never accept Haudenosaunee. Never. We are not Haudenosaunee. We are not Christian Handsome Lake ass kissers. We are Ganyagahaga of the Ganasuwe Uwe. We will never be what everyone else is infiltrated by. And now you're going to hear other people start to say, they're not going to sue, they're not Haudenosaunee either. They're not going to say, we're not Haudenosaunee. But all of a sudden, you're going to see people not saying they're Haudenosaunee. And then you're going to see those people who aren't saying they're Haudenosaunee anymore. Then all of a sudden, they're going to start to say that they're going to sue. No, they're not. Don't let anybody change sides now. Like that example that I gave earlier of apples on this side of the table, oranges on this side, and the bell rings, you're on that side. You cannot change sides now. So, no one else has the right to call themselves Ganasuwe Uwe. Nobody in Ganawagi has that right. No matter who you are, think about it. If you are at the Christian Handsome Lakers, you all call yourself Haudenosaunee. If you're 207 Warrior Society, you all call yourselves Haudenosaunee. If you're band system, they all call themselves Haudenosaunee. And the reality is that the band system represents all Haudenosaunee. They represent the Christian Handsome Lakers. They represent the 207 Warrior Society. So they're all one. None of them can ever refer to themselves as to what everybody was just 50 years ago. Ganasuwe Uwe. It's too late now for anybody else outside of this house here to refer to themselves as Ganasuwe Uwe. It's too late for that now. People in Akwesasne, you can't do that. You're all Christian Handsome Lake Haudenosaunee. Everybody in Akwesasne, everybody in Ganasadagi, everybody in Tyandanaga, Grand River. There are no more, when it comes to Mohawks or Ganyagahaga, there are no more Ganasuwe Uwes except for in this house, in the Longhouse up the hill. We are the last Ganasuwe Uwes now. Everybody else is ass-kissing Christian Handsome Lakers who bend over backwards to jump through hoops of fire, to do everything that the white man tells them to do because they got their fat, lazy ass hands out waiting for that dollar, for that white man's money. Because they're fat, lazy asses. Because they can't do it on their own. They need their great white father to do it for them. Okay, so I make this statement outright. Anybody, you know this is the statement. The line has been drawn. Yous are all Haudenosaunee. Everybody else who claims to be anything with Iroquois, Six Nations, Five Nations, Longhouse, anything, all are all Haudenosaunee. We are the only ones who are not a part of you, not a part of your corruption. So, we identify to you that the Longhouse, the Five Nations, has been infiltrated by the corruption of Christian Handsome Lake, which is Freemasons. They're all connected to that, no matter what level it is. Longhouse infiltrated by the Onondagas, Christian Handsome Lakers, to destroy Great Law of Peace. They are what is destroying the Confederacy. The Onondagas started by destroying law upon the Senecas, by them saying to the Senecas, when the Senecas said, this is not our chief, the Onondagas said, this is your chief. That's what they done with Handsome Lake. And as you know, like I identified, so that's like almost 200 years ago. And 1989, how long ago is that? That's like 30 years ago? 35? It's almost 40 years ago. So from 200 years, almost 200 years ago to like a 40, that's over a span of about 150 years. Christian Hansen Lakers said to the Senecas, "This is your chief." Onondaga said that to the Senecas. Pete Sky, baby dictator in 1989, holding the title, supposedly holding the title of Tadadaho, said that to us. You'll get your condolence, provided you accept Hanson Lake. So that's the Onondagas again, trying to tell the Ganyangahaga who's going to represent the Ganyangahaga. No, the Onondagas can do that with Mohawks, who are part of the Hautenosaunees, but they can't do that with the Ganyangahaga, who are going to Suwe, because we're the only ones within our identity. All other so-called Mohawks who called themselves Haudenosaunee, you're stupid. You're Onondaga. You can't imagine yourself as being Ganyangahaga or Mohawk if you're Haudenosaunee. But the people of today will not grasp this because they do not have the concept or the understanding of this. You got to be Longhouse to understand this, to know this concept, to be it, to understand the elemental level. What is that? Ganyangahaga, Onondaga, and Seneca. That's what this is. That's what on the elemental level is. So if you think turtle, wolf, and bear, like the ball game, okay, whose turn is it? Oh, okay, it's let's say it's the bears. Okay, so who goes next? Okay, it's either the wolf or the turtle, right? Well, how was that determined? Determined through the ball game. Okay, so if it's the bears, then it's the wolf or the turtle, and then after that, it's back and forth. So whoever's turn it is, on the elemental level, they're the one that is doing that creating. So if you're a Mohawk who's a Haudenosaunee, then when you're going to the ball game, you're going as an Onondaga. So you're not even you on your elemental level. This is where I say that the people here in Ganawagi not going to grasp that. None of the people of the Hautenosaunees are going to grasp that because that's law. Okay, so let everybody know. Tell everybody this. We are stating from here, announcing to the world that what happened to the Confederacy, the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy, since the coming of the great darkness of the white man over the past 500 years, the infiltration of that white man has worked its way into, first, the poison got into the Senecas. The Senecas defeated it. They squeezed that poison out. The Onondagas picked it up and they swallowed that poison. And then they used that poison to consume the other nations. They've been trying to do this to the Ganyangahaga. It will never work. It will never happen. They will think they're the Confederacy. They got this thing still going. No, they don't. They ain't got jack shit. Look at them. What do they got? Even their own people will complain about their Taradaho, who bows before that guy they call the Pope, who kisses the ring. Like all the sellouts here in Ganawagi. Warrior Society that went. Kenneth Deere went to go kiss the Pope's ass. Kenneth Deere went to the United Nations to kiss the white man's ass to create what they call the undrip, which is bend over backwards and kiss the white man's ass. That's what everybody is. As Hautenosaunees, they all got to play their role. And they know because they're all part of that secret society of Freemasons, Knights of Columbus, all that stuff that you sitting in a longhouse, you'll never know. That person sitting right next to you is a sellout traitor to you. They're not really there as a longhouse person. They're there as an infiltrator. The Ganyangahaga, and in particular of Ganawagi, have been bombarded for hundreds of years because we are the seat. Even to the attempt of telling even the stupid people here in Ganawagi, believing the nonsense that you came from Mohawk Valley. How stupid you gotta be. My goodness. You gotta be as dumb as a bag of rocks to even to convey that false belief. Yeah, hey, there was Mohawks in the Mohawk Valley. Just like there's Mohawks, and you could go to Phoenix, there's Mohawks there. You can go to LA, you can go anywhere, you can go to Florida, you're gonna find Mohawks everywhere, right? Does that mean that's where we're from? Nope. If you are in Ganawagi and you claim to be a Haudenosaunee and you are of the belief that you stem from Mohawk Valley, you are an Onondaga. That's who you are. You are not within our element. You are the wrong thing. You are the corruption, because what Onondaga is, what they are the sellout entity. They are Tadadaho turned loose back upon the people. The Onondagas have been turned inside out. This is what has happened to the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy, and through their corruptions within the Onondaga Nation has corrupted the entire meaning of the Longhouse. Everything. Even to the point of where you think of something simple. No, this is going to really blow your mind. And it's going to really have you at odds with yourself. Everybody knows the Onondaga Longhouse, right? Everybody's aware of how it's shaped. Wait a minute. What is the shape of the Longhouse? Is there a direction to the Longhouse? And is there appointed places within that Longhouse for clans and for women and men? In your Longhouse, isn't there a door for the women and a door for the men? Isn't that what a Longhouse is? Now think of Onondaga. Women and men mixing in the same place. Ooh. Gender and identity confusion. These are things that have been long-standing norms that everybody just thinks is the way it's supposed to be. But you can decipher law. And you can look at law and know that, hey, wait a minute. Just because that building they got there in Onondaga and in Grand River has just one door to it, and it's been that way for a while, that you think you accept it. But is that a Longhouse? Can a building with just one door on it be a Longhouse? Does it recognize? Does it establish itself? Does it establish life giver, life protector, order to counsel process, all of that? This is something that is going to tear you apart at your core, because Haudenosaunees all are of the belief, for some stupid reason, that one door constitutes a Longhouse, constitutes an infiltration. Yes, the Confederacy is infiltrated by corrupted Onondagas. That's what has happened to us. And not just over a short period of time, over a period of time of hundreds of years. We can, right now, you can identify it as from the time that Joseph Brant and, what was his name, Mobile, Handsome Lake. Anyways, you can identify it from that time, approximately 170 years, but it's actually beyond that. It took a long time for that physical thing to get established. And so you think every Longhouse has two doors. The Onondagas only got one. Do you believe that's the way a Longhouse is supposed to be? Now, you could say that's the way the Onondagas are and accept it, because that's the way the Onondagas are today. But wait a minute. That's the Onondagas of the Haudenosaunee. The Onondagas of the Gunasumwe Umwe are a completely different thing. They don't exist anymore. There's no such thing as a right and proper Onondaga anymore. And that means no such thing as a right and proper Oneida, Cayuga, or Seneca. And as you know, I've identified to you in the past, they haven't been there anyway since August of 1989. That was their final legal council, August 1989. That's where, again, Dale Dion from Ganawagi Warrior Society, part of the Warrior Society, renting a whole busload of clanless people, sent them to Onondaga to walk into the Longhouse, and a bunch of clanless people standing there threatening the so-called chiefs. Grant you, even though they weren't that, but they were the closest thing that we had to it. So we had to work with that. But they went in there and threatened them, and Huron Miller shut down the Grand Council that has been, the wheels have been turning for over 2,000 years, and a bunch of clanless warrior society from Ganawagi is going to go and bring that to a grinding stop. What they brought to a grinding stop was the Haudenosaunees, not the Confederacy. Haudenosaunees are not Confederacy. Not at all. They're not Great Law of Peace. You cannot serve two masters, because everybody knows Haudenosaunees are Christian Handsome Lakers. So wait a minute. If the Christian Handsome Lakers are claiming to be Haudenosaunee, then why would the Warrior Society claim to be Haudenosaunee also? And then why would the band system claim to be that also? And then how could each of them all still keep trying to claim that about themselves when they're all claiming the same corruption? Just a bunch of fools who don't know nothing about who or what they are, because none of them come from the Longhouse. None of the people that are there within that Christian Handsome Lake house or that 207 Warrior Society house, none of them come from the Longhouse. None of them were in their original one Longhouse. Not a single one. They're all the Johnny-come-latelys. So, yep. I go on record identifying to be like, say, like the diagnosis of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy is that we have been infiltrated by the corruption of Christian Handsome Lake through the Onondagas. And they have infiltrated through their Freemason rank and file. They have infiltrated into every community, into every house. They control the band systems. They control in every community. That's why you have the community says no to casinos, but then like here in Ganawagi, you have casinos. How'd this happen? Freemasons, the Christian Handsome Lakers. Now, when you say that, you think that it identifies, well, there's a bunch of natives who are in control there. No, it identifies there's a bunch of native wannabes who have sold out to the white man to be under their control, because then they bring in all the white man's policies under that guise of Haudenosaunee. If you are in Ganawagi and you claim to be Mohawk, you claim to be Haudenosaunee, you are not Mohawk, you are Onondaga. You just don't know what you are. Gender and an identity confused people. That's what's going down. That's what's been happening within the Longhouse, the infiltration. It's not working because we identify it and we stand against it and we don't let it into our house. It's everybody else. It's not us. Everyone else is infiltrated. All right. If there's nothing anybody wants to say about that or just anything else, then I guess we can close up for tonight. Yeah. Okay, singing. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. My voice. Okay, we're going to try something. I just always draw a blank too when it comes time to sing. Let's see what happens. Hummada, 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 hummada. Hummada, 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 hummada. Okay, something else I wanted. I'll throw something else in there for everybody to think about. Also, within these lines of infiltration, think of this. Infiltrate means that we were a certain way before, and then after infiltration, no, you're another way. But the purpose of the infiltration is so that once you are another way, that you don't even notice, that you don't even realize it, that it's such a slow, gradual change that you're just that thing now. Okay, so within that vein, you think of, we used to have, as if you've been with us, you know, George Gilbert used to be with us, Wayagirdo, he used to be our Ganyangeha teacher until he stopped being our Ganyangeha teacher a couple of years ago now. But as some of you may know, we were doing a translation of the Great Law of Peace into English and into Ganyangeha. Okay, so there was a lot of things that, let's say a word or a phrase was said to Wayagirdo, and then he came back with this word, and he said, that's what the word is. And that's what the word is today. And I would say, no, that's not the word. We got to look for this. If you've been with us, you've seen it, the interaction between George and I. George, because he's got the language, me, because I've got the knowledge of law. And so then we were able to arrive at the proper Ganyangeha word to explain the true sentiment of what was trying to be attained. Okay, so think of just this simple thing of time. What time will you be there? Okay, let's say we're going to have a meeting in the afternoon. What time will you be there? Oh, okay, today in Ganyangeha, you're going to say, I'll be there at 2 o'clock. What the hell is that? What does that mean, 2 o'clock? Let's say if you were communicating that to somebody from 100 years ago, a Ganyangahaga person, and they said, what time will you be there? And you said, I'll be there at 2 o'clock. What is that? What's 2 o'clock? What does that mean? Okay, so this is what I'm showing you here is an infiltration into the mind of the people that gets you to leave a mindset of understanding, a sentiment of understanding something, and then losing the understanding, and then identifying it the white man's way, but not in the white man's language, in our language. So, what time will you be there? White man's language says 2 o'clock in English. So, hey, we translated that to being 2 o'clock in Ganyangeha. I'll be there at 2 o'clock. What is that? What is 2 o'clock? It's nothing. So, you know what's forgotten here? Is a sentiment of how to keep time, of how we relate to each other. What time are you going to be there? Well, I'm going to be there after, let's say, halfway past noon. Oh, halfway past noon. What does that mean? Does that mean 3 o'clock? 4 o'clock? 2 o'clock? Well, it actually means different times, right? At different times of the year. So if you say I'm going to be there at halfway past high noon, well, if it's right now this time of year, halfway past high noon to the sunset would be what? 2 o'clock. But if it's summertime, halfway past high noon and sunset is going to be around 4 o'clock, 4:30. So you can't say 2 o'clock, because there's no such thing as 2 o'clock in the realities of creation. What there is an understanding that we have in relation to what time of year we are, as to being able to correlate understandings with each other as to what time I will be there. So I will be there either, let's say, at sunrise, or high noon, or halfway between sunrise and high noon, or halfway between high noon and sunset. And this is the way our references to time would be. But today, there's no knowledge of this. All there is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. What is that? There's nothing of reality to that. You know what this is? It's an infiltration. Because you no longer know or understand the correlation of time, your interaction with it, how to refer to it so that another person could understand. What if you ain't got a watch and you say, I'll be there at 2 o'clock? Okay. When is that? When is that? 2 o'clock. So it gives you knowledge of the references to time is in relation to being cognizant of the time of year. So when you're giving time, there's actually a reference to the time of year. And then it's either halfway before, halfway of, sunrise, high noon, halfway after, and halfway in between, or sunset. These are the natural points of references that the people always used, always had, the way we communicated sentiments across to understanding for the people, no matter where you are in time or space. So today, our minds have been infiltrated so much by the white man that all of our knowledge of these things have been completely wiped and replaced with a fake thing. What time are you going to be there? I'll be there at 2 o'clock. Infiltrated. Does it make that much of a difference? Well, if you can become aware that you have been infiltrated, well, that would make a real big difference for you, wouldn't it? Here you are, maybe you're thinking I'm this thing, whatever. And then let's say you're an ice cube. And you're saying, I'm an ice cube. But you're infiltrated by fire. Okay, well, are you an ice cube anymore? No. But you can still be calling yourself an ice cube. But infiltrated by fire means that, well, then you are the one that is manipulated out of reality. So you could be talking to somebody thinking you're talking reality, and they're looking at you like, something wrong with you, man. Something seriously wrong with you. So just think of that also on that level of language and time, telling time, our minds have been infiltrated. So just to entertain that, if it's possible that your mind has been infiltrated on that level, well, isn't it possible that your mind could be infiltrated on other levels also? There you go. I'll leave it there like that tonight. The answer to that is yes.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a song here. Hey. Okay. I'll do do a little bit of the woman's dance. Hey,